Hello, I'm Grace Clifford. I'm presenting this presentation for URSKO for Dr. Holian's class for my group project. It is called Down the Rabbit Hole with Mary Blair. Let's get started. Down the Rabbit Hole with Mary Blair. This is the timeline of Mary Blair's life from 1948 to 1960. So 1948. 1949, this is the start of it. There's a glitch. Okay, 1948, Melody Time premieres. This is a film about melodies and art. She did some concept work for Johnny Appleseed, Once Upon a Wonder Time, and also Song of the South. 1949, she did So Dear to My Heart, which is here and here. And then she also did concept work for The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad, which is the story of the Headless Horseman. 1950, Cinderella premieres. Disney Cinderella, this is all Disney related, and she did concept work for Cinderella. She also did concept work for The Golden Books, I Can Fly, and she also had a son in 1950. 1951, Alice in Wonderland premieres. This is arguably the film that Mary Blair has the most influence on with art. As you can see, there's a concept work for the White Rabbit's house, and if you're familiar with the Disney film, you will know that this house and this clip is almost identical to the movie version. You also see her teapots here in her concept work that come through to the screen again. She moved to Long Island during this time so she could be with her husband, but Walt did not want to let her go, and he flew her back and forth multiple times to continue to work. She did some work for Susie's The Little Blue Coupe, an animated short on an anthropomorphic car. Later, Pixar, when creating the movie Cars, looks at this short in her concept work. She also did work for The Little House and some work for Peter Pan. 1953, Peter Pan releases, and you can see how she influenced it. She starts doing freelance work and has moved to New York to be a mom. Here's some freelance work she did. She also did some freelance work for a calendar for Meadow Gold Company. Here's some US dates that happened during this time. The first vaccination happens with polio, which helps Mary Blair be at ease with her children. These are more American dates, but they still influence Mary Blair since she is an American. 1955, Lady and the Tramp premieres. This is concept work that she did for Lady and the Tramp in the 40s, some of her first concept work at Disney, and still influenced the movie. Also, on July 17th, Disneyland opens. And a few years later, Mary Blair helps develop this Small World ride, designing the facade, the characters, the costumes, almost everything of Small World is her design. Peter Pan premieres as well on Broadway on TV, and the Mickey Mouse Club also debuts. 1956, here are some US events that are happening during this time and a freelance drawing that Mary Blair did. 1957, some more American events like the space race, which is an exciting time for Americans. Mary Blair also starts work on concept work for Sleeping Beauty. Sleeping Beauty concept work continues, and the space race also continues in 1958. 1959, Sleeping Beauty debuts on December 25th. At this point, Mary Blair is no longer at the studio, but her art has still influenced the film. She stays home to become a mom, to watch her children grow up. Hawaii also becomes a state during 1959, and Cuba, Fidel Castro comes to power in Cuba, putting the communism and fear of communism in the hearts of Americans once again. And finally, in 1960, she continues freelance work, and you can see her classic 2D animation or 2D drawings and art. It looks almost as if she cut them out and pasted them together. Here's our bibliography. Thank you for joining me for a few years of Mary Blair's life, and I hope you enjoyed our presentation. Once again, this is Grace Clifford for Dr. Holian's class, Women of Disney and Pixar.